Hey guys! Alright, I know, it's been a while. Really long while. But, as everyone's aware, 2022 was a little crazy. So between work and family stuff, just haven't had the time to make any videos. But, this, I felt, was worth the time and the effort. Because I didn't see any other reviews on YouTube about this company. So, let's get into it. So I know that I have positioned this channel as a tech channel, and I've done some DIYs and I've done some reviews on some other tech things. But you do remember I did do that video where I built a watch, which is the one I'm wearing right here. And I've always kind of considered watches to be that original handheld tech. I mean, before the wristwatch, you had pocket watches. And when they were first able to put a watch on their wrist, that was just a crazy idea that they could fit that tech into something that could fit on their wrist. And it's continued, obviously, and it's, we've had the quartz and the smart watches, but the mechanical watch has always kind of held that interest for a lot of people. So in this video, I want to talk about bezel. I hadn't heard of bezel until I saw them promoted on Adrian Barker's channel, which used to be Bark and Jack. And they sponsored a video of his, and it was a very interesting concept. It's a marketplace for watches. You look at it just like Chrono24 or eBay or any of those other watch marketplaces. But instead of it being sent to you, they send it to Bezel when you pay for it. Bezel holds onto the money. Bezel receives the watch. And then they authenticate it. Not only do they authenticate it, but they're going to check a registry, I think multiple registries, don't quote me on that, to see if it's a stolen watch. And I was like, this is a novel idea. And then when they're done with that, they overnight it to you. So I did a little more digging. I saw that they were also sponsoring the About Effing Time podcast that has Adrian and George and Andrew, which is a really good podcast if you're into watches. But a little bit about my watch background. I've always loved watches. Growing up, I remember, and I still got it, this was actually the first watch that I purchased. This was back early 90s. See if we can get that. And you can see old Casio World Planner still runs. I did have to replace the band. But I kept this watch because it was the first watch that I purchased myself. And I wear it every now and then. It is well used. It lived with me through the younger years, so probably didn't take care of it as well as I should have, but neither here nor there. Then another watch I wanted to show was this watch, which is a Festina quartz chronograph. And there we go. And this I purchased on a trip that I was able to take with my father in the early 2000s to Germany. And, we went there, and it was a German culture and car trip. We did the Nürburgring, we did the Autobahn, and I got a watch while I was over there. And so every time I put this watch on, I get to remember that trip and all the awesome times. So just like with so many things with watches, it's just a memory. And then the third watch, this is a Citizens Eco Drive Skyhawk. Now, there we go. Now this watch was purchased by my father, and he had some issues with it, and it stopped working. And this was about the time that I built this watch. So, I picked up all the tools and everything, and I asked him if I could have a shot at fixing it. And, being an Eco Drive, it doesn't have a battery, but it does have a capacitor, which is a lot like a battery. So I got it, and I fixed it, and as soon as I put it all back together, hit it with some sunlight, it popped right back up, and it's fine. And my dad was gracious enough to say that I could just go ahead and keep it. And so these 3 watches kind of represent different points in my life and remind me of things, and just another reason I love watches. So back to bezel, I finally came to a point where I wanted to get a nicer watch. And I did look at Chrono24, and I did look at eBay. And of course, the biggest concern is it going to be real? There's so many fake watches out there, and they do a really good job that you don't know if you're going to get the real thing. So when I saw the ads for bezel, I was very intrigued. I was like, you know, your 2 real options are something like bezel, where it can get authenticated, or just buy new from an authorized dealer, an AD. But of course, depending on the watch, they're probably not going to have it, and you're going to be paying a lot more depending on the watch. So I looked more at bezel. I read some reviews, and I decided, you know, we'll give it a shot. And so far, because I haven't opened this yet, it's been an amazing experience. Once you sign up and you start looking at a watch, they assign you a watch connoisseur or concierge, who happens to be a connoisseur of watches. And he called me, and I mean, we talked for probably 25, 30 minutes. And it wasn't even just about watches. It was just, you know, my interests and you know, what I'm looking for and you know, other things. So you could tell he wasn't just there just for the quick sale, because, I mean, he's not the one selling the watch. He's selling the company. So found a watch. And the one I first found, it was a year and a half old, but it was unworn. Well, you can make offers on bezel. I made 2 offers, and the guy who was selling it, he wouldn't budge. Okay, that's fine. Well, another one came up, and it was less than a year old, and it was worn. And the pictures weren't great. So you can go onto your bezel app, and you can text your watch concierge, and I just text them and say, hey, can I get some better pictures of this watch? By the end of that day, he had contacted the seller. The seller had sent new pictures, and then Chris, the watch concierge, he sent those to me, and I was there. I was this close. I was like, okay, I'm pretty close. And you could see, you know, it's a worn watch. It was April 2022 when it was first purchased. And you could see there were some hairline scratches. Well, I discussed this with Chris, and he said, well, hey, how about this? If you do get it, when it gets authenticated, we can have the watchmaker do just a light polishing. And I know for a lot of watch people out there, polishing a nice watch is not a great idea. The way I look at it, if it's a vintage watch that's never been polished and all original pieces, yes, don't touch it. That patina is worth its weight in gold. I kind of feel a little differently about newer watches. You know, if it's just some light polishing here and there, and you're not going against, you know, maybe like a coin edge bezel, or you're not reducing any of the actual machining, you're just lightly getting rid of some surface scratches, I don't have a problem with that. If you do, I totally understand. But he offered that, no charge. And that was pretty much what pushed me over the edge. So I was like, all right, let's do it. So I purchased the watch. I, paid for it, and they take all the payments. Credit cards, PayPal, Apple Pay, Venmo, all of it. Which was really nice because it gives you options. So paid for the watch. And the way it works is the seller has 24 hours to ship it to bezel. And that happened. So it was overnighted to bezel. Bezel then will authenticate it. And then they will overnight it to the buyer, me. And I was able to contact Chris throughout the process. And it was just great. It was a great experience purchasing the watch. And it was authenticated. They finished up yesterday morning. And they did. They overnighted it. Here it is. So, why don't we go to the top-down view and let's open this box up. All right, so here we have the box, and like I said, it was overnighted. Obviously, I already removed the shipping label. And first thing I can tell is, I don't know if you can see, but I mean, every edge is taped, which on these boxes is not really necessary, because I mean, it's sealed here, but they definitely went above and beyond, so we will see what it takes to break this open. Now, while I'm doing this, the other thing I wanted to mention was that after they received the watch, a day before they authenticated it, Chris messaged me and said, hey, the watchmaker wants to know your wrist size. Because he was going to go ahead and size it, or at least, get it close for me while he authenticated it and polished it. And this was, again, all, there was no extra charge to me to have this done. Now, let's see what we got. Oh, another FedEx bag and just some stuffing. So I can definitely say it was well packed. And like I said, I mean, the whole customer service model that they have so far has been absolutely excellent. And they did a very good job of making me feel better about my purchase. Because, watches of this nature aren't, exactly cheap. And the watch I did purchase, it was a papers and warranty card. So there's the box. And it looks like we have a handwritten letter from Chris. That was the guy that was my concierge. Congratulations on purchasing this Tudor Black Bay GMT. Well, I guess that gives that away. When it came through the office for authentication, I knew you were going to love it. Never hesitate to reach out if you need anything watch related. All the best, Chris. I mean, that's really cool. Just that little touch of personalization. If they can honestly do that for every customer, they will do very well. And places like Chrono24 are going to have to step up their game. So, unsigned envelope, and I'm assuming this is the authentication report, so there may be some stuff that I blur out here. Oh, this is just the receipt. Okay. Oh, that's right. They emailed me the authentication report. So you won't see that. So here we are. Box looks to be in very good shape. So here we go. So it looks like the watch shifted just a little bit. Let's turn this, get some light on there. And it's actually already running. So let's go ahead and pull it out. Oh man. Just some fingerprints. And it doesn't look like they did anything to mess with that beveling on the side of the case there. And it looks like they may have actually even polished the bracelet. Just a hair. So we'll set that here. Now there might be some stuff that I blur out. So there's the warranty card. I won't show you the other side, but it is a matching, well, actually let's double check that. Yes, the serial number does match, so that's good. We've got the warranty booklet, so I'll put that with the card right there. we've got the manual. Looks like it's never been opened. And we've got the extra links. That's great. So we can put all that back in here. And we'll put that off to the side and take a look at the watch. So I went with the GMT because of the looks. It has the retro styling of you know, there's no crown guards. The blue and the red are on a aluminum bezel insert, meaning you're not going to get that really shine of the ceramics on some other watches. The snowflake hands. Boy, I'm wishing I'd worn some gloves. Although this is a watch that I'm going to be wearing daily, so. But it looks absolutely perfect. Oh, we get to feel, see if we can hear. I don't know if you can hear that, but that has got to be the crispy, I don't even know if that's a word. It is the most crisp bezel movement I have ever felt. Goes right dead on center. You can see the domed sapphire crystal. Oh, I'm to the moon on this. Let's go ahead and see how if he was able to fit it to my just over 7-inch wrist. So we'll take off the Seiko mod watch. It's a little loose. They've got it on the, looks like the middle. Yeah, the middle. I may have to take another link out of that, but that's no big deal. Well, guys, I guess I can't really say much more than bezel. That's where it's at. It's everything that they said they were going to do, they did. The watch has come in the condition that they actually better than the pictures I saw. So yeah, bezel. If you guys are in the market for a really nice watch, they've got a great app on the Apple Store, or you can go to get.bezel.com. I'll have links below. And I hope to be making some more videos. I don't know what I'm going to do them on. It'll be something tech related. But I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.